go. Come on, live. Come on, live. Come on. Okay. Man, it's taking forever. Okay. All right. Are we live? I think we're live. Yep. All right. We're back. We're back, guys. We're back. If you didn't see our video earlier, I suggest you look into it. It was a pretty decent study we just recently did on testing the book of Daniel in the Septuagint versus the Masoretic text. So if you haven't seen that, please check it out. But if you're tuning in for our Genesis study, welcome. We're going to do Genesis chapter 33. I will be reading from the Septuagint. So we're going to be continuing our Torah study that we started back in last Feast of Tabernacles. Our group started reading the Torah. So here we go. I think what I'm going to do here for the viewers is actually put my Septuagint on the shared screen so they can actually read along with us. All right, here. So this is a free internet archive. If you want the link, I'll give you the link to the 1851 Brenton Septuagint with Apocrypha. And it's in pretty decent font. It's a PDF version of it. So here we go. We're going to go to Genesis 33. And we'll see how far we get here. Okay, what is going on here? No, it should be. Let's see here. Oh, I see how it does it. Okay. All right, just getting used to this PDF here. Sometimes it goes a little too quick when I scroll. Let's see here. All right, Leviticus, Exodus. All right, hold on a second. I'm almost there. Almost there. 37, 33. Here we go. Genesis 33 from the Brenton Septuagint. And Jacob lifted up his eyes, and behold, and lo, Esau his brother coming, and 4 men with him. And Jacob divided the children of Leah to Leah and to Rachel, and the 2 handmaids, which, let's see. Yeah, okay, so most of them say 2 handmaids. Okay. And their children with the first, and Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. But he advanced himself before them, and did obeisance or reverence to the ground 7 times, until he drew near to his brother. And Esau ran on to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And they both wept. And Esau looked up, and saw the women and the children, and said, What are these to you? And he said, The children with which Elohim has mercifully baruched your servant. And let me just kind of look at, I'm kind of curious in that verse whether, let's see here. Okay, so that was verse 5. Let me just see here if in verse 5 what the Masoretic text has. Sometimes I like to see, sometimes vice versa. The Masoretic text sometimes even has the Tetragrammaton, where the Septuagint has Theos or Elohim. No, okay, they both agree on that one. All right. With which Elohim has mercifully baruched your servant, and the handmaids and their children drew near and did reverence. And Leah and her children drew near and did reverence, and after this drew near Rachel and Joseph and did reverence. And he said, What are these things to you, all these companies that I have met? And he said, That your servant might find favor in your sight, my master. And Esau said, I have much, my brother, keep your own. And Jacob said, If I have found favor in your sight, receive the gifts through my hands. Therefore I have seen your face, as if anyone should see the face of Elohim, and you shall be well pleased with me. Receive my barakas which I have brought you, because Elohim has had mercy on me, and I have all things. And he constrained him, and he took. And he said, let us depart and proceed right onward. And he said to him, my master knows that the children are very tender, and the flocks and the herds with me are with young. If then I shall drive them hard one day, all the cattle will die. Let my master go on before his servant, and I shall have strength on the road according to the ease of the journey before me, and according to the strength of the children, until I come to my master to Seir. So he's talking about Mount Seir here. And Esau said, I will leave with you some of the people who are with me. And he said, why so? It is enough that I have found favor before you, master. And Esau returned on that day on his journey to Seir, and Jacob departs to his tents, and he made him for himself their habitations, and for his cattle he made booths. So this is a little hint here of possibly the Feast of Tabernacles might have been before the law of Moses was given, very possible. Just the idea that he's making booths and stuff like that, which tabernacles consists of that commandment of dwelling in booths. So it's more of a theory I have that some of the feasts might have preceded Mount Sinai, but anyway. Therefore, he called the name of that place Booths. And Jacob came to Salem. Interesting. That's the same place that Melchizedek came from to appear to Abraham. So that's interesting. A city of Sakima, which is in the land of Canaan, when he departed out of Mesopotamia of Syria. Now, just a note, Mesopotamia of Syria in the Masoretic text will be Chaldea or Babylon. So just to kind of geographically give you an idea, it's basically the same place. Mesopotamia of Syria is Babylon, it's Shinar. And took up a position in front of the city. He brought the portion of the field where he pitched his tent of Emor, the father of Shechem, for 100 lambs. Okay, so, and he set up there an altar and called on the Elohim of Yasharal. Now that might be a little different than Masoretic. I forget how they word it. If they have it more as a transliteration, like, they'll probably have it where it'll say Al-Bathal or something like that. Let me see here. Just want to kind of see what they have in that last verse there in that chapter, and we can move on and have Brother Dennis read. Yeah, so the Masoretic will have H415 Al-Aloha Yasharal. Yeah, so basically it's more of a transliteration in the Masoretic. It's pretty much the same thing. It's talking about, Elohim, using the title Elohim, referring to Yahuwah. So Alua, or however you want to say, Aluhi, the Elohim of Yasharal. So it's kind of like the same thing. So Aluhi means Elohim, the Elohim of Yasharal, or it says here in the Strong's, the mighty Elohim of Yasharal. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's very similar there. Brother Dennis, could you read Genesis chapter 34, if possible?
I'll see if I can. Hope there's not too much noise.
All right.
And Dinah,
Sally, are you able to?
Yes, I can read chapter 34.
All right, thank you.
Yes, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom, this is from the scriptures, by the way. Let me turn on my lamp here. I didn't realize I needed it. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hiwite, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, prince of the land, saw her and took her and lay with her and humbled her. And this being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shechem spoke to his father, Hamor, saying, take this girl for me for a wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob kept silent until they came. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very wroth, because he had done a senseless deed in Yasarel by lying with Jacob's daughter, which should not be done. I'm sorry, I lost my. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "My son Shechem's being longs for your daughter. Please give her to him for a wife, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves, and dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possessions in it." And Shechem said to her father and her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I give. Ask of me a bride price and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me. But give me the girl for a wife." But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said to them, "We are not able to do this matter, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Only on this condition would we agree to you, if you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised. Then we shall give our daughters to you, and take your daughters to us, and we shall dwell with you, and shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us and be circumcised, we shall take our daughter and go." And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man did not delay to do this, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now he was more respected than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city, and spoke with men of their city, saying, "These men are at peace with us, so let them dwell in the land and move about in it. And see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Their herds and their possessions and all their beasts, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them, and let them dwell with us." And all who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and Shechem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. And it came to be on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simon and Levi, Dinah's daughters, each took his sword, and came boldly upon the city, and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in the houses. And Jacob said to Simon, I don't know, we have always pronounced it Simon, and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am few in number. They shall gather themselves against me, and shall smite me, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I." But they said, "Should we treat our sister like a whore?"
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep reading?
Oh no, that's it. That's the end of chapter 34 there. Yeah. I wanted to, because I wanted us to discuss about this, because there's a lot to discuss about this chapter. You have Dinah, their sister, daughter of Jacob, pretty much being defiled because this guy that ended up becoming attached to her and actually loving her. This guy Emor, the son of my bad, not Emor, Shechem, son of Emor the Hivite, is one of the tribes that Yasharel later on has to destroy. And maybe that's why Yahuwah at this point, it doesn't seem like he was mad at Yaakov's sons for doing what they did, because inevitably they're going to be actually that land that is inhabited by the Canaanites and all of them that Yaakov mentioned that he's afraid of. Eventually, they're actually commanded by Yahuwah in Deuteronomy and other places when they get into the land of Canaan to utterly wipe those same tribes out. So I wanted to touch on that. That seems like this is kind of like a foreshadowing type of thing, and maybe Yahuwah is looking at it like it's very possible. You got, in my opinion, it's allowable because of the Nephilim seed and stuff like that, and Yahuwah is allowing his sons to act out in vengeance because these are tribes that they have to utterly destroy later on anyway. That's just my opinion. I think that's why he would allow it to happen under normal circumstances. I do think Yahuwah would be kind of ticked off that they, especially since they act deceitfully and trick that guy into having all of them circumcised so that he can marry their sister. And I mean, the text even says that they acted deceitfully and basically, lied to the Hivites to get them circumcised so that the day after they would be, sore from the circumcision and weak, so they would be able to slaughter them. So it's very deceitful what Yaakov's sons did. The only thing I could think of why it's not evil in the Father's eyes is because these are tribes that they're commanded to utterly destroy later on. That's just something that came into my head, because in verse 30 it says, Yaakov said to Simon and Levi, you have made me hateful, so that I should be evil to all the inhabitants of the land, both among the Canaanites, Perizzites, and I am few in number. They will gather themselves against me and cut me in pieces, and I shall be utterly destroyed in my house. What's funny is that later on, Yahuwah is actually telling Yasharel to utterly destroy those same tribes, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites. So to me, it's kind of interesting. Even the wording there, utterly destroyed. So to me, there seems to be a connection there. I would also like to talk about this. A lot of traditional Christianity will say that that Dinah was raped. If you actually look at the text, she wasn't raped. It was consensual. The defiling was actually making her a harlot, because he was not the guy basically did not betroth her or anything. He just laid with her, basically treated her as like a whore, and then afterwards it says, the text says that after he humbled her, which humbled doesn't always mean rape. It can just mean you humbled a woman. If you humbled a woman, you laid with her. So, scripturally speaking, doesn't mean that a woman is raped. I just want to make that clear, because traditional Christianity has kind of put that in our heads that she was raped. In actuality, it was consensual. It was not her being forced. The defiling was the actual act of her laying with the guy. The consensual laying was actually defiling, because you're supposed to come into covenant with one another before you lay with someone. That laying with someone is meant to seal the marriage covenant. It's not meant to just be used, especially today has taken that act, what this girl Dinah and the other guy did. Now it's become modern day that it's normal in our country that, you just, lay with whoever you want, a different person every day of the week. And, according to the Father, that's evil to do that. That's whoring. So he made her a whore by whoring with her. That's what the actual defiling is. So just wanted to make that clear. That's why I wanted to stop there after Sister Sally read this chapter. I wanted to break it down a little bit, because there's a lot in this chapter that's going on. You have the Canaanites and the Perizzites and them being mentioned, which later on we'll see those are some of the Nephilim tribes that are to be utterly destroyed when they get into the land of Canaan, when they come back from Egypt and Yahuwah leads them into the land of Canaan after being in the wilderness. When you get into the books like Deuteronomy, you know, and so on and so forth. So I kind of just wanted to touch on that, Brother Dennis. I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Hey, let's see. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I just wanted to break that down because that's an easy misunderstanding that I've had in the past because of commentaries and study Bibles, and some Bibles will even put it as the header of the chapter, Dinah gets raped. Like some of them,
Oh, yeah.
they insert it in there. So that's just something I wanted to make clear, because from what it seems like, this Hivite guy, he wasn't such a bad guy. He messed up, giving into his urges. He probably should have, you know, if he was 100% human, he could have at least waited until he betrothed her if he really wanted to marry her. You know, that's where he messed up, it seems. He made her a whore. You know, he defiled her, and but it could be possible Yahuwah never wanted her to marry. He never wanted them to intermarry with the Hivites. So it's very possible Yahuwah could have just allowed that, like, you know, that kind of, in a way, what Yaakov's sons did, it accomplished part of his will for them to, like, you know, destroy those Hivites.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking of. It's like Yahuwah used their unrighteous vengeance, and just, you know, I could understand why they have vengeance in their heart, but technically we're not supposed to be avenging ourselves. So it's kind of like, it's a very bad thing that they could have, it could have been looked at as a bad thing, what they did, but maybe Yahuwah looked at it as it's accomplishing his greater purpose, possibly.
Right.
So that's all I wanted to speak on it. Thank you for joining us. Our sister Alyssa just joined us, and I think she was watching in from Facebook. Shalom, Alyssa.
Shalom, Brother Doug.
Hey, so everyone that's watching on Facebook and watched our previous study, thank you for joining us for today on this Sabbath day. And my prayer would be that maybe that helps you understand this chapter a little bit in context, what it's talking about, and helps us really understand, especially the way we've kind of gone through today, the way we handle with sex before marriage. Maybe it would make you second guess that. Maybe it would make you really think harder about that. I know my generation is very bad with that. So I also pray that this would be a way to be a witness to you about the scriptures. And if your heart was prickled today, if you've been convicted of any type of sin, I pray that you would ask the Father, you would come to the Father and submit your life to him through his son, Yahushua Messiah, ask his son, Yahushua, to be your savior. So thank you for joining us. And to all those on Facebook right now, we'll be going off the record right now for our regular Sabbath gathering. So thank you for joining us. Shalom. Stop the live.